For today's cup of coffee, I have introduced...
She lit my ass up!
I have introduced him to Mountain Remedy, which is rock and rye mixed with honey and lemon. Heated a little bit. You got to drink it while it's warm.
I'm sweating right now.
Good.
You lit my ass
Absolutely. But he's doing a whole lot better than he was. Which it's going to take more than one dose of it. But as far as the congestion and stuff, that and...
I can actually somewhat breathe out of my nose now.
Because colds and flu still exist.
Yeah. It's not just the coof.
Right. And so it's just one of those that is an old school remedy on that.
Uh-huh.
That and the generic Vic Salve. And I told him, and I know as far
you
as...
said just to put it under your nose. I fucking slathered it on this part of
You can
nose.
do that. My grandmother used to roll it up in a ball and make me swallow it.
The fuck?
It didn't kill me. It didn't kill me.
Minty Vaseline.
Absolutely. The dude that invented
It'll
Vaseline
help you
used... Well, I don't know about that. Maybe that's a purgative therapy. That's castor oil. But actually, the guy who invented Vaseline intended it to be used for cooking. For real, I can't imagine, because that's not a tasty substance.
Isn't it plastic?
It's petroleum derivative.
So why use that in cooking?
There's a lot of stuff that people consume that they really shouldn't.
Yeah, the government has a lot of chemicals that are banned in other places still in this country.
Yeah. That now the
you know what they use in French fries in McDonald's over there in the UK?
Beef tallow.
Potatoes and cooking oil.
Well, that's what
potatoes and vegetable oil.
That's what they originally did. Was they fried them in beef tallow, and then you had the science that decided that was bad for people.
Which it's
not. So guess what? They soybean oil. Now that's bad for people. Right. Same thing with the theater popcorn. That was popped in coconut oil, and it's a reason it was delicious. So they stopped that. And it's like everything that they say is bad for you is usually good for you. And it's like it's low-fat stuff, especially for small children's. Absolutely not, because the brain is comprised of fat cells primarily. You have to have healthy fats.
That's why they want the low fat.
It's bullshit.
Yes.
And it's just like whole milk, because it's got the cream and stuff in it.
Uh-huh.
And what they're doing now is selling heavy cream, which is the cream.
Yeah.
For some ridiculous price.
$6. Actually, I paid $7.
Yeah. Yeah, for what was it? It wasn't even a half gallon, was it? Was it a pint or something like that?
It was a pint.
Oh.
And it went bad.
Well, yeah, I mean, it doesn't take a whole lot. But even if you get one of those little half pints or something like that, they're still $4 or $5 for cream.
Yeah, and guess what? We're going to have to get more for me to make that banana cake.
And it's okay. We can do that. But that's just like, it is illegal for a farmer to sell milk.
You can give it away.
For pet consumption. But it's one of those things that if they catch a farmer doing that, they will shut him down. Now, that's how twisted our nation has become.
Well, if it was up to me and if I raised cattle, I'd be giving the milk to the family.
Well, So, anyhow, no, we're not going to go on to the, bread tube?
Bread tube.
We're just ranting.
Oh, come on, bread tube. Come at us. We will fight you to the death.
No, I mean, as far as there's so many people doing political commentary and stuff because everything is so screwed up. Mm-hmm. I understand that. But we're going to talk about something else that is screwed up.
The political stuff, that's a fucking illusion. We have no choice in the end. No. We really don't.
Well, there are some people. And this is where the career politicians, that needs to stop. But now, actually, you do have real people that are getting into this stuff. And little by little, it starts at a local level.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's just a matter of doing something rather than sitting there wringing your hands doing nothing.
The thing is, the government now realizes that they are a laughingstock and no one takes them seriously.
But the thing is, that was by design too. So, hey, trust me, that's a whole lot better than it was half hour ago.
Yeah.
But we're going to talk about more idiocy.
Please do.
Yes.
I mean, have y'all been keeping up with the Amber Heard case?
Oh, I don't even.
I've been watching that since the beginning.
Those are not real people. Those are Hollywood people. They're not real.
They are real.
Who could tell? Their whole life is an illusion.
Did you see what
They get paid to pretend.
Johnny Depp's getting better looking ever since he's taken his power back from Amber Heard. She's an energy vampire. She's just been sucking the life out of him. Guess what? Now she's looking bad now.
He needs to, both of them, I think, need to go through rehab. From what I've heard, they both need some assistance with that.
Oh, no. She's way worse than Johnny Depp.
It doesn't matter.
Way worse.
It's like, that's comparing who's the bigger addict. Is that really a contest that you want to win?
He's not an addict.
Anyhow.
The only thing he really did is drink, but he didn't even drink that much.
For today's cup of coffee, we're going to be talking about something else that is just so assed up. It just gets broader and deeper. Absolutely. I have fought being black-pilled for days. I really have.
You've been playing being black-pilled for about a year now?
Well, yeah. And this comes from, it's Cal Matters, which is in California Matters.
Cal Matters.
By Marissa Garcia, and this was written August the 26th, 2021. And this article is entitled, Dust to Dust, Will California Lawmakers Legalize Human Composting, Transforming Bodies into Soil? And the link will be in the description box.
I'm fine with that.
It says...
I mean, that's what they were supposed to do anyway.
Miss Garcia says, 2 wheelbarrows full. That's how much soil a composted human body creates. Yeah. In California, it apparently won't be legal anytime soon for people to be transformed into soil after death.
I mean...
Only 3 after-death options are available now in California. California? Funeral, burial, California, Freudian. Burial and cremation by fire or water. But a bill that had been moving through the legislature would have legalized natural organic reduction or the composting of human remains, adding a greener funerary option to the mix.
Loves it.
Just the way that this is, that's the reason I'm reading it verbatim. Because you couldn't make this shit up. And it says, Anna Swenson, spokesperson for Recompose, the company that developed the process, states, the idea of returning to Earth is somewhat metaphorical, whereas natural organic production offers a literal return to the Earth, end quote. On August 26, 2021, however, the bill was shelved for now. While California debates sanctioning human composting, other states have already begun. In 2019, Washington became the first state to legalize the process.
Loves it.
And this year, the dominoes kept falling. Colorado legalized it in May, and Oregon followed suit in June. Next year, New York could do the same. Since the pandemic's onset,
Virginia.
Conversation has started about the need for alternatives to cremation. Amid the peak of deaths from COVID-19 in January, Los Angeles County was cremating so many bodies that local air quality regulators temporarily lifted cremation limits meant to minimize air pollution.
What?
It's California.
That sounds
natural
like the complete opposite. Lifted.
Natural organic reduction comes at a time when demand for green death care options is growing. In 2017, lawmakers legalized alkaline hydrolysis, a cremation by water. This uses only 1/8 of the energy needed by a standard cremation, which guzzles fossil fuels and emits carbon dioxide. But despite legalization, the practice has not caught on widely. And only a few funerary homes provide the service in California. Burial isn't so green either. It leaches chemicals into the ground and takes up scarce land. If each Californian opted to be composted after death, supporters of the innovative argue the carbon saved would be enough to power 225,000 homes for a year, or more than half the homes in San Francisco. The bill advanced through the legislature with significant bipartisan support. Left-leaning politicians support this environmentally friendly technology, and both the left and right appreciate expanding consumer choice.
Right.
It says the only formal opposition so far comes from the Catholic Church. The California Catholic Conference did not respond to Cal Matters interview request, but told Religion News Service last year that it opposed an earlier version of the bill. Spokesperson Steve Penhark said at the time, quote, "We believe that the transformation of the remains would create an emotional distance rather than a reverence for them," end quote. But the lawmaker pushing the bill, Assembly member Cristina Garcia, was raised Catholic and represents a heavily Catholic district in southeast Los Angeles County. She said she understands that turning into soil after death isn't everyone's preference. And she stated, quote, "But it's my duty not to impose my religion on other folks. My duty is to allow individuals to have choices to do what's best for them," end quote. And that's the end of the article. But it says 3 states have already allowed the composting of corpses. Oregon, Washington, Colorado, and other states are considering the option. And that, of course, is greenmatters.com. That's where I got that info. And that also comes from California expected to legalize human composting, an eco-friendly burial method, by Sophie Hirsh, August the 12th, 2021. Now, as far as going back into the soil, that's not the problem, because that is, basically an option and has been done for thousands of years. But as far as the term compost, I think that's the problem, because composting is basically something that you have to turn over, and I get as far as how composting is done. They're not talking about burying someone and allowing the body to go back into the earth.
No, they're laying it on top of the ground and letting it rot.
And then what are they going to do with it? What are they going to do with that compost? Are they going to use that for farming? Because to me, that's a form of cannibalism. I mean, is this going to be a Soylent Green is people type thing here?
They're worried about green options. You want to know what the fucking green option is? Don't use a fucking casket. Dig a hole, toss them in there, put the dirt on top of them. There you go. Well, nothing. Simple. They're not in a casket. They're not even in a shroud. They're in a hole.
Well, and it's like this. The Catholic Church is correct in as far as not viewing the corpse as a person.
Because it's not. The person is out of it at that time. No,
there is such a thing as revering the dead, having reverence for the dead. That's the reason we have laws against, where we're talking about the body brokers and different things like that.
It's a shell.
And disrespecting the corpse. I am not for this idea of throwing somebody out on a trash heap.
Now that, no. But
because that's
what they're talking about. What they do, they lay them on the ground. They don't pile them on top of each other. It's like, it's almost like a row of bodies.
You've researched this?
Yes.
Okay.
It's not that bad. It's like, let's say someone goes into the middle of the woods, drops dead, and they're not found for a couple of years. It's kind of like that. They just sort of lay there and rot.
How is that eco-friendly?
I mean, it still goes into the earth at some point, but...
Right. And it's like, as far as having...
It's just like deer dying.
Yes, but the thing is,
we don't
when
bury
you...
deer.
No, buzzards and stuff come and consume it.
Well, that, yeah.
You know, and it's like there's a difference.
Consume the bodies too, or something like that.
That's, you know, I don't know, and I have problems with that. Now, I don't have a problem being buried in the backyard in the banker box. I don't have a problem with that. But as far as just throwing my body out and letting the buzzards get it, I have a problem with that.
I don't know. But would I, like, wrap you in a shroud, throw you in the hole? Probably.
Well, yeah, but it is a matter of being covered with the soil. And that's a totally different thing than what they're talking about composting.
That is the greenest option right there.
Well, yeah. But as far as...
That is a natural way to process a body.
But now, let's face it. If they're talking about composting, they're going to use that compost for something. Because what are they going to do? Are they going to bury the compost? No, they're not. So this is... They're more worried about water and space and everything like that than they are concerned about somebody having lost a loved one and the ramifications that can come from that. Now, one of the reasons that the funerary industry came in was because that people did not like the thought of decomposition.
Well, everybody decomposes, whether you're in a solid gold casket or not.
Exactly. But as far as bugs and worms and all that stuff, and this is wonderful breakfast tile.
Why does it matter? You're not in there
I understand,
anymore.
But it's the ones that are still alive that the thought of it bothered them greatly. So that was one of the things as far as the coffins. And then anytime that there's a need, there will be somebody that will make money off of it. And that's each individual's thing on that. Even the composting thing. But I do think that that's irreverent.
Well, what you and Dad want done with your bodies, you need to put that in writing, because I ain't going to, go through hell as far as organizing that.
I've put it on video. Have somebody go back and watch the video.
Writing.
It's me saying it. It's the same thing. Anyhow,
yes, let's not follow the legal processes.
Let's face it. Is their ultimate concern giving people options, or is it because that people that are indigent, that's what they're going to do with their bodies? Because currently people that are indigent or whatever or cannot afford a funeral, they do cremate them. Mm-hmm. But that's also one of those that it is turned to ash. It is this term composting I have a lot of problems with, because that is going to be used for something.
Well.
Yeah.
I don't know. What is the difference between, let's say, okay, you put someone's body in the hole in the ground and then you plant a tree on top of it? What's the difference in that? Like an apple tree.
I damn well guarantee you that is not what's going to happen with that. And that's
well, you said if it was used for farming, would that be a source of cannibalism? What's the difference in that and having an apple tree and then picking those apples off of it?
Well, because at that point, by the time that the apple tree got to where it was producing, fruit, there would be nothing left that could be considered cannibalism. Composting is not the same. There's always bits and pieces left.
Yeah.
And at what point, as far as the compost, where they're like, yeah, it's okay, let's go spread it on a field right now? I can just see that going a whole lot of wrong, because somebody is going to misuse that.
I mean, yeah.
And like I said,
there's always going to be bad in the world.
Well, yeah, but what a wonderful way to get rid of, the undesirables. The ones that had no one.
I mean, there are people perfectly fine that are going to be like, hey, I want my body donated to the compost thing.
Well, and that's okay. But like I said, what about the ones that had no one to speak for them, that they did not have the ability to speak for themselves. Like I said, I can see that going 1,000 ways of wrong.
Then that argument could be put with anything as far as them even being put in the ground.
But we've discussed that as far as the unethical people that are unethical about
what do you do with the bodies then?
Funeral and stuff.
Like of the indigent, whatever.
Well, like I said, the cremation.
You could, like you said, as far as that being disrespectful, the undesirables, what's the difference in that than being put in the ground?
There is something about the idea of turning a human being into compost that is repulsive to me. Truly. I think that it is horrific that we have people in this world that no one cares about, and that they would have to die alone, and that nobody would even know that they were dead. But, like I said, we have laws about desecrating bodies. Now, that doesn't mean that everybody, abides by the law, as we have reported. But like I said, as far as, and maybe it's just me, maybe it's just my thoughts on it. But I just, no. And for
personally,
them,
I wouldn't care if my body was used for compost. Hell yeah, make food out of it.
Like I said, there's a lot of problems with cannibalism. We've discussed those too.
Hell, use it to plant a tree.
Well,
go ahead.
And you may be one of the ones. But there are reasons for doing this. Oh, it saves space. Oh, it's less air pollution. Oh, it leaves less of a carbon footprint and stuff like that. They're reducing what was a life.
Oh, wait, they already did that.
They're reducing as far as what a life was, what a human being was.
If they're so worried about the carbon footprint,
remove themselves from the planet.
Get rid of the cars. Everybody on bicycles.
It is another grift.
It's not exactly.
It is just another grift. Yeah. And these people that are screaming that, absolutely let them go back to horse and buggies. If you really want to reduce carbon footprint, if you really want to, as far as improve air quality, of course, these people have never been around horse shit, so they don't understand the air quality around that.
Right. That's not, or pigs, or farm animals in general.
Right. So,
have you been around one farts? I've been right out on the porch. I've been right out on the porch when the cows do that.
Oh, yeah.
And it's disturbing as hell. Their tails are flying and everything.
Well, yeah. It's pretty much the same process, except there's no filter there.
Yeah.
But
it's disturbing as fuck.
There was just something about that that does not sit right. And it may just be me. It may be my belief systems and stuff like that.
Of course, then again, I'm perfectly fine with human taxidermy if it was possible. So.
Somehow that's different. I can see that having more reverence for the person than just turning them into compost. I don't know. It's just like throwing somebody out on the side of the road. No, it is a person. There is a difference between a person and a deer. So, anyhow. So you can let us know in the comments whether you pro or con the compost, whether you pro or con the Soylent Green.
I mean, now the Soylent Green, no, that's fucked up.
Yeah, but now there's already been people that have been proposing that. I shit you not. Which is horrifying. Put that right up there on the menu with the bug burgers. Yeah. No, thank you.
No.
So, if you've had experiences with paranormal, supernatural encounters with UFOs, aliens, cryptids, absolutely disturbing legislation. Hell, isn't it all disturbing these days? If you've got local or regional family myths or legends, you can email us at cupofcoffeewithscream@gmail.com, and the email address will be in the description box also. Yes. Like I said, this one really disturbed me. It truly did.
It doesn't disturb me.
It just, like I said, it bothered me. I don't want to think of anybody being thrown out on a dung heap or something. That's just no.
They're not done though like that.
It's close to it. It is close to it.
No.
Every life is significant. Every death is significant. It is. That's just who I am.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I understand that, but they actually do treat the bodies with relative respect.
Right. Who's out there with a pitchfork doing all that, turning all that stuff?
They literally don't. They just leave the bodies there. They leave them. Like, once they're laid out, they're left there.
You can't tell me that that's not some kind of biohazard.
Don't step in it.
God help it. Yeah. Do your spiel.
If you like the video, don't forget to like, share, comment, and most of all, subscribe and click that notification button for daily notifications of our daily uploads. Thank you all. Have a good... If you want to rot in the field, go ahead. I don't care.
Yeah,
do what you want to do with your own body.
After that one, I'm going to fix me a rock and roll also. Know that you're loved. Know that your life matters.
Yes.
And that your death matters. So, we'll see you on the next cup. Bye.
Bye.